Hi, I'm Charles Jackson with Charles Jackson Media, a consultancy connecting people, passion, and purpose. And we are proud sponsors of Content Creators University, brought to you by JP Hightek. You know how people struggle to connect in their personal relationships? Well, I help them break through those barriers so that they can have happy and healthy relationships with themselves, with family members, colleagues, and people from diverse backgrounds. I serve individuals, brands, and organizations looking for better ways to connect. My approach keeps the whole person in mind. That is why we have several points of entry. I connect via social media outlets, in person and virtual workshops, speaking engagements, video and traditional podcasts, and coaching, all centered around our 3-step relational leadership model for connecting with people across differences. So I invite you to connect with me on any of your favorite social media platforms. I'm at Charles Jackson Media or on the web at charlesjackson.media. You should also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date with all of our video chat series. Thanks for connecting and enjoy the rest of Content Creators University.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to the Content Creators University. You guys know how we do it every single week. We connect with one of the best, brilliant minds in the content creation universe, right? And today we have another amazing show for you guys. You're in for a treat. We have a phenomenal guest today in here. And as you can see as well, I'm using a brand new microphone. Shout out to Charles Jackson Media, LLC. He got me inspired, and now I'm using this Procaster Rode microphone. Let me know, do you like the audio? Is it, can you hear the deep sound of JP? Just kidding, folks. If you're new to the channel, I want to go ahead and ask you to go ahead and smack the subscribe button, activate the bell icon so that you can be notified every single time we go live. What we do here is we have a motto, right? Create, impact, and innovate. What's that all about? Well, we connect, like I said, with the best minds in, IT media industry and professionals that will come every single week, teach us about things we need to understand in order to have a better value proposition, elevate our live stream video content creation, and understand the best way to monetize that as well, so we can build a business around that. All right, talking about business, that's what we're talking about today, the business mindset. In a little bit, we'll talk more about that. As you can see earlier, was Charles Jackson Media, one of our sponsors on the show, which we highly appreciate. He's a professional in the industry. He has a phenomenal conversations on his YouTube channel, Charles Jackson Media. Go ahead and check it out. And also, folks, we have another sponsor on the show as well. Let's run the ad for the next sponsor, and we'll be right back. Let's go. Stay with me. Now we're about to talk about the folks that are going to be joining the Content Creators University the next upcoming weeks. But before I say that, you notice that ad telling you can download a brand free, 100% free, overlay. If you're looking for something like that, go ahead and visit rtnstreams.com. And for those of you who do not know, RTN Streams is your best companion for your eCam. For example, I'm using eCam right now to broadcast this live stream, and RTN Streams is your partner. When I say that, it's like your decoder. I'm currently using RTN Stream solution to broadcast this live stream on my Roku TV application, my Fire TV application, my website, and more platform that I'm using. Really amazing stuff. So if you want to take your live stream to a higher level, if you have paying clients, where you want to have premium paid, live streaming without having to use YouTube, because if you're unlisted, anybody can just pick down list URL and have access to your webinar. You don't want to have that. You want to have a true solution. Well, go ahead and check out RTN Streams. You will not be disappointed. Now let's go ahead and talk about the folks that are joining here. As you can see right there, we have Keely Dunn. Now Keely Dunn will be joining the show on June 22nd. She's going to be talking to us about mobile setup, right? The things that we need to understand, and we'll be taking a look at her behind the scenes, the things that she has and why she has the things she has, because we need to understand the equipment and the best tools to use so we do not fall down on our faces whenever we're on the mobile setup and we're traveling or something like that. All right. So really, really cool stuff. Looking forward to that conversation. And right here, we also have Rob TubeBuddy, right? Rob Balasabas is his name. I just put TubeBuddy because, hey, he's with TubeBuddy and everybody knows him as Rob from TubeBuddy. He's going to be here on June 23rd, and he's going to be talking to us about YouTube, how to create a YouTube channel, but not just create it, how to make money off of it as well. You need to know the best way to do that. So stick around, subscribe for this type of content coming up. I'm very, very excited. All right. And we also have Heather Ramirez, right? She's a YouTube coach, and she's coming not just to talk about YouTube, but how to overcome, burnout, right? How we shouldn't burn out, and how can we stay inspired every single time and keep releasing content, not just go online or release a video or go live just for the sake of it, but to truly release something that's going to impact people, value, and also videos of content, right? Very important that we do it the right way. She's going to come and talk to us about that on June 29th. So very, very excited, right? Now, we have somebody here waiting behind stage, and her name is Jillian Morin, and I love her spirit. She's a professional. She goes around and she produces amazing content. She has a loving personality. She's a teacher as well, and she's here to teach us today on how we can build a business surrounding our content creation. And folks, it is important to understand how we're going to learn more about her story. How did she end up doing the things she's doing? And how did she actually, set up her profile in order to start getting paid clients? We want to know how to do that so we can also start having paid clients, folks. So if you want to learn, stick around right after this next animation for our next sponsor. So stick around. Right after that, we'll be having Jill on the platform. Let's go. I really like that. If you're looking for a family friendly, like a Netflix type of experience, but, faith-based, family friendly, that you can enjoy, go check out Reveal TV Network. All you got to do is go to revealtv.net. Go ahead and get yourself a free 30-day trial. Watch all the top Christian movies and TV shows and things like that, and connect with your family over some popcorn and things like that. You will dig it, all right? Go ahead and check that out. Now let's go ahead and have Jill. How's it going?
I gotta tell you, I don't often get nervous because, we're always live streaming and working with a lot of different people. I'm a little nervous with you, JP. Your show is like so polished, so good. And the people in the chat that are joining us, man, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Absolutely. I mean, I've been announcing this show for a very, very long time. Finally, the day's here. We're going to have Jill. You're going to be our professor. And it falls very well because you're a teacher. So welcome to the Content Creators University. First question that I always do and ask all our guests is, please take a minute to introduce yourself to the viewers that do not know you.
Sure. So my name is Jillian Morin. I am, first off, I am a wife and a mom to 4 crazy kids, including a set of twins. I live in central Massachusetts. A little bit about my background: I was a high school ESL and biology teacher for 11 years before transitioning into communications, marketing, live stream producer, strategist, consultant, and social media. So I'm kind of all over the place, but then centered with my company, which is Creative Communicators, and my YouTube
All
channel is
right.
Miss Jill.
Miss Jill. Well,
Miss
welcome to
Jill.
the show, Miss Jill. Really
Thank
appreciate that
you.
introduction. Before we hop on the first question, let's go ahead and give some shout outs, right, to the folks in the comment section. I'm looking at Monty Weaver. Hey, Monty, how's it going? Monty was right here with us yesterday. He taught us the skills and secrets to understand on how to go live on Amazon and also get the brand deal. So thanks for joining us, Monty. I also have Keely Dunn, FH Umpire, in the house. Let's go. I appreciate you joining the live stream. Thanks for being here, folks. And I also have my man, James Hicks. How's it going, James? Thank you for being here. We really appreciate your presence. And of course, we have Cree. Hey, Cree, thanks for joining the live stream. And I'm really digging you guys, being active in the comment section. And if you're just joining us, go ahead and put a comment down there. Be active, support the stream. Hey, Charles Jackson, how's it going? Hey, guys, Charles Jackson Media is in the place. Really, really happy to see that, folks. Thanks. And I also have my man, Jermaine. Hey, Jermaine, what's going on? How you doing? Thanks for being here. And thanks for giving me a feedback on the new microphone I'm using. Shout out to Charles Jackson Media for getting me inspired on this microphone. I'm digging it so far. First
It
time I'm
looks
having a
great.
mic.
Sounds
Yeah, thank
great.
you.
I
I'm
like
trying
what
not
you
to
got to
knock
test
it out.
test your low end again.
Yeah.
Talk low again.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
All right, let's go ahead and start with the first question. Ms. Jill, first of, now everybody wants to create content, right? When I say everybody, I'm talking about the mass majority of people. I'm thinking on how to really create some sort of content, whether it's podcast or videos or live streaming, and you do a lot of those things. You're actually active a lot. Producing content not just for yourself but for others and for other brands. First thing we want to understand, how did you become a content creator? How did you end up in the world of YouTube and doing videos and things like that? Could we share your story with us a little bit?
Sure. Absolutely. All right. So while I was teaching, I always found myself creating little videos and tips and tricks and all that for my students, even for my own kids, like teaching them the times tables. And I was like, how can I do something once and then have it be helpful to others later on? So I would make some videos and tips and tricks. But I'm also a musician, so I play the piano and sing, and I was highly involved in my church for a while. So YouTube was a way for me to kind of share that out as well. So my background with live streaming at the very beginning was all related to teaching. So creating something once for people to enjoy and circle back, because I find myself wanting and needing to learn like that. And then, sharing things that I'm passionate about: music, my faith. And now it's kind of been on my channels. It's still teaching, but it's teaching technology tips and tricks, stuff like this. And that kind of led me into producing for a lot of other people and a lot of other organizations. And it might have started off as part of like an extension of my teaching job, but it later moved on to being, really a great way to provide for my family. And now, with things being what they are, and even with things kind of moving back to normal, I'm still, there's a high demand for video producers. And there are lots of people, maybe here even in the chat, that need support with that, but don't want to have to learn a brand new craft. So being able
Mm-hmm.
to provide social media consulting, and video production for people like that is huge. Not everybody has to be a content creator, but I can tell you, if you're interested and you're dabbling in it, keep going, because it's super rewarding. The communities that you can find is amazing, as we can see. I mean, everybody in
Mm-hmm.
the chat right now, these are our people, and they're wonderful. So yeah, did I
All
answer your
right.
question? I tend
Yes,
to
ma'am.
ramble. You can reel
Yes,
me in
ma'am.
anytime you want.
You did. You did. Thanks for that. Now, my next follow up question to you will be,
Yeah.
okay. Um, some people are, skeptical. They're like, okay, it's gonna take me. I want to do it, right? For that person that's
Yeah.
like, I want to do this, but the dedication that it requires just to get somewhere? Or is it a misconception that you need to have, for example, quote unquote specific number on YouTube
Mm,
in order to monetize, right? Because we're talking about
mm.
monetization. Is that a
Yep.
misconception? If it is, then okay, how should we approach this whole thing? With what type of mindset should we approach it?
Okay. So it's interesting. I always when people are talking about wanting to create, if they're creating for themselves, then they must have a purpose and a passion and a focus, right? If people are just wanting to create to get out there and to get attention, not that that's a bad thing, but if people are just wanting to create to be like, "Oh, I want to be an influencer," I would still encourage people to look at the root of what do they have in their hands? What is in their voice? What's their skill set? What can they ramble on and on and on about, and be passionate about, but also be helpful to others? So before talking about monetization, I think it's important to know yourself well enough to know where you're gifted, what you're passionate about, and what you could talk about without needing, what's your expertise without needing so much extra help, because from there, um, your equipment will grow. Like, you got a new microphone today, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can start off with what you have. In terms of monetizing and making money, let's say on YouTube, um, I I I don't fully trust that YouTube's going to be super great for me financially. So I kind of strategize and I use YouTube as a way, and content creation, even on Facebook or whatnot, as a way to connect with better paying clients, and being able to offer these services to clients that pay me. So truthfully, I make a very little bit of money on YouTube, but what I've been able to create for others, or pitch to others through content creation, has been what really pays me. And actually, I'm excited to circle back to Amazon after watching your live stream last night with Monty, because
Oh yeah.
I was like, "Oh man, I buy so much stuff from Amazon. I'm an affiliate. I need to start moving there." So, yeah, I think
Right.
for con being strategic about why are you making what you're making, or why do you want to make anything,
Mm-hmm.
and then thinking about how that's going to make sense for you financially. And I can talk to you about some of those steps and what
Awesome.
type of clients I have connected
Of
with.
course, of course. We'll be talking about that. So, taking note, folks, let's take note. So, first thing is understanding why you even want to do this, right? Make sure that you have a mission and a purpose to doing this. And also understanding that, oh, okay, can I do this without, having to, for example, being pushed, being encouraged? What is the, professional subject matter that I can be talking about, right? Without nobody pushing me, encouraging me to do it, right? What are you an expert in? And like one person said, on this show, which is Walter Jeanette said on this show, he said, you need to have a PhD in you, right? So that is a big deal, folks. Let me go ahead and give a shout out to the folks that are still here in the comment section. Hey, Alicia Way, thanks you. Thanks for being here. Yes, we are live. And thank you, Charles Jackson Media, for the super chat. We really, really appreciate you. That's really awesome. And Jermaine is saying, oh, well, that's cool. Most teachers will never think about creating shorts for their students. Absolutely. And that is really, really powerful that, Miss Jill, all right, Jillian is doing something like that. And Monty is saying that, yes, there are some awesome creators, live stream communities. Absolutely. And live stream can really allow you to monetize and really, take your monetization to a higher level where you can really start making more. So I took note on that. Now,
100%.
okay, let's talk about I am here. I have all the equipment, right?
Sure.
I know how to go live, how to create content, but I'm not making any money. How do I find one client that can be two,
Yeah.
three, or four later? How do you do that?
All right. So can I tell you a story about a major client that I landed, and I was totally a sketch bag, but it all worked out in the end?
Yes, we're here for you.
Okay.
So take your time. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I was, it was a few years ago. I was still teaching ESL. I did a little project through a friend on a startup company for teaching English online, and the startup didn't pan out. So I left this project and I was like, man, I love this type of work. I want to work with the best ESL online company. All right. So I'm like, all right, I know what I'm good at. I know I'm multilingual and I'm okay. I'm pretty good on camera and I've got some tech skills. So what I did was I researched a bunch of really popular ESL companies. So one of the major ones is Rosetta Stone, right? People think of that yellow box and the language learning app that they have. So I looked on Rosetta Stone and I looked and I realized they don't have a lot of YouTube content. So I'm looking, and I'm like, yeah, they have this amazing product. They have marketing towards big companies, but they don't have that like YouTube personal connection. So so I thought about that. I'm like, oh my God, there's a need. I have I have a passion for this and I'm skilled in this. I can do it. So here's where it gets sketchy, okay? But follow me here because this story ended up really good. So I looked through the YouTube content that they already had, and what I did was I found someone that was in a higher position in the company of Rosetta Stone. And this guy was in a video and he was funny. Okay. So I'm looking through a ton of their content. This guy had a sense of humor and he had a high position at Rosetta Stone. So I said, this guy is going to get me. So what I did was I made a video pitch, just me in my classroom in front of a whole bunch of flags. And I talked about how much I loved teaching English as a second language, how much I respect Rosetta Stone. And I didn't give away all my ideas for them, but I gave them a few ideas on how they could improve their reach. And then I said, I have more to share with you. I would love to connect. So I create this video, I make it unlisted. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go on LinkedIn, I find the guy who had a sense of humor, and I did a 30-day free trial of LinkedIn Pro, and I messaged I'm yeah, I know that's why I'm sketchy. I messaged him the link, the personalized video I made for him. Now, in that video pitch that I made for him, I integrated the video of him because I wanted to get the hook. I wanted to say, "Hey, Matt, I have a message for you. I'm an ESL teacher and I love one of your videos and you're in this video, so make sure you check it out." All right. So that was, I went from, I kept like refreshing my browser. I'm like, did it have any views? Did it have any views? No views,
Mm-hmm.
no views, no views. After 2 weeks, I went from 0 views to 32 views. So I knew they were the only people with it. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
long story short, I start this conversation with this gentleman, Matt. He later on goes on to be the head of the language acquisition. He hires
Wow.
me. I fly out to LA. And if you download Rosetta Stone, the Spanish app or the Spanish language in there, you'll see me.
Mm-hmm.
So they hired me. I'll share this. I mean, I made over $10,000 for 1 week of work. I don't often
Wow.
talk about specifics, but it's
Mm-hmm.
important for you guys that are trying to move up.
Mm-hmm.
I was it was a very risky, bold thing that I did, but it paid off, and that really encouraged me to like trust my instincts in terms of how I communicate. How can I communicate with people that I can be myself with, but I can also be confident in what I can do? And man, it was, and I still work with them a little bit on the side. They're out in LA, so my family's here in Massachusetts, but I hope that I can continue to have that relationship. But I was able to then leverage that to get a bunch of other clients that I'm working with right now, and that's on top of my role in the school system. So that's one story. Only like 2 or 3 people know that story, but I thought it would be
Wow.
good to share in this live stream.
It is. It is. I'm glad you shared that. That is really amazing what you did. And I like what, Charles Jackson said. He said, whoa, the dedication. That proves
Mm,
your dedication, your willpower, really thinking outside the box.
mm,
Because my takeaway from what you said is that you're not just going to sit and land
yeah.
major clients. You have to do something outside of the box, right? Outside of the norm, to be
Hmm.
noticed because those again are major clients and they're
Hmm.
used to having a lot of different people try to poach them with different ideas. So the question is, what is so special about you that's gonna make you noticed. And I like the way where you went outside of the out of your way to grab a
Hmm.
video of
Of
the
him.
target of him and
Put him
included
in it.
that into your thing. Well, talking about attention grabbing, right? That grabs
Hmm.
attention. So if I am a CEO or any major corporation manager, you if somebody sends me something and I see myself in that person's video, I'll be like, wait a minute, what is going on here? So I kind
Right.
of love that approach. And I'm taking
Hmm.
note, folks. Let's take note on that. And from there now, they can now pay attention to what you have to say. Now, of course, my next question will be, how long was the video? How long do you have to make an impact whenever you're trying to, approach a client? And how should you structure that whenever you're planning the content?
Well, this was a unique case. I probably it probably took me, I don't know, 10 minutes to record myself and then splice it all down. It was just hard, fast cuts. And so
Oh,
for
wow.
that project, it was more the creativity and the strategy of thinking about who my audience is and how I can get their attention. But I have done that a couple of times. I think one thing that anybody here that's watching or watching on the replay can do is think about your sphere. Think about your community. Think about where there might be some needs. And if right now, if you're trying to hustle and you're trying to get those first couple of clients, do some strategic, high quality volunteering, um, with the right type of people. So I think I said this in Jermaine's last live stream that I was in a week or two ago, that in a lot of communities there's a chamber of commerce. You do some volunteer work with the chamber of commerce, and you've got an in with like 600 small businesses in your community. There's economic development corporation, one of the clients that I do, school systems. So in terms of details on what videos, it's all kind of different, but in terms of strategy and thinking about who you're going to talk to and what is going to resonate with them, that's in your wheelhouse. Don't pretend to
Mm-hmm.
be a food photographer if you've never
Right.
photographed food, but think
Mm-hmm.
about what you currently have, where you want to be, and then think about what's going to make sense for that. So because I work with so many different types of clients, it's different. Yeah, it's different depending on whoever I'm working with. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes. Yes. Of course. But okay, so as a rule of thumb in general, and this is for the guy
Yeah.
that never done it before,
Okay.
the person that is thinking, man, I want to do the same thing. They may not have the same opportunity that you have with Rosetta Stone, but you
Right.
still should know how to approach them. Would you say
Yeah.
that it doesn't matter where you poke them or approach them at? I'm talking about when I say it doesn't matter, like the platform,
Mm,
like social media, email, phone
right.
call, cold call. What will be recommended? Because obviously, whenever people don't know you, you make a cold call, they'll be skeptical, right?
Yeah.
So you
So
did
for me,
LinkedIn.
and I did LinkedIn because I saw that Rosetta Stone was extremely active on LinkedIn. I knew if I
Okay.
just tried to like DM them on YouTube or whatever, Instagram, their social media was not their strength. So I met them at their strength in their language. And then so for them, that was it. But other
Okay.
people, like if it was for a local restaurant or something, then you might want to post it on Facebook and then post it to a bunch of the local Facebook restaurant fan groups, to get and tag them in it and then get their attention that way and say it was a pleasure. Thanks for letting me film in there. I'd love. So
Right.
it's all about your specific audience. When I started creating content for the school system, I was already working there teaching. I already had a level of respect there, but certainly my communication with the superintendent was, "Hello, superintendent. Thank you for allowing me to create some content on behalf of the Marlboro Public School System. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to, let me know if you have any feedback." So, you got to be somewhat of a chameleon, and you need to know your audience, so
Right.
that it's not just how your style is, because your content is gonna prove your style. and what you can do and what your strengths are. So your communication with each person, I think, needs to be tailored to how they communicate.
That's major. That's major. It needs to be tailored to how the client communicates. So,
Hmm.
like you said, obviously we need to take the time to study the client, see
Hmm.
exactly where do they live, breathe, and
Hmm.
spend most of their time. Right. That is going to
Yes.
determine the type of solution we'll use to try to reach them, contact them. So some people are more present on YouTube, some more on Facebook, some more LinkedIn, Instagram, all of that. And from there
Hmm.
now, strategically now plan what we're trying to present to them. Question number one, what is in it for them? So it's not about us, it's about
Right.
them. We're here to
Yeah.
serve them. So I like what you said, being a chameleon type, right? Like morphing into something that they can envision. So we're pretty
Hmm.
much selling the dream where we're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do and help them envision themselves, envision their
Right.
company, accomplishing what we're trying to present to them. And from there, we can, develop a relationship with them. Now, talking about
Yeah.
relationship, it goes with building a company. As we were talking, the question that was coming in my mind was, okay, are we approaching them as a company ourselves or as an individual? When do we create a company in this content creation ecosystem? What would you say about that?
Mm. I feel like I've only just begun to do that as people approach me as a company. And what I mean by that is when I was in-house for the school system, so I went from teaching to a part-time communication social media role. When I was there, um, I was Jill, right? I'm Jill
Right.
Morin doing stuff for the school system. And then when I picked up a couple clients like the Economic Development Corporation where I'm sitting at today, then I'm getting in connection with all of these other businesses, and I was starting to be paid as a 1099, and so I'm starting to do self-employment and all of that. But once I started working with bigger clients, other people are then asking me, "Oh, Jill, tell me about your business." So some of that for me happened organically. I think some people, if you're not there yet, if you're not there with your brand, with your company, that's okay. You don't have to be. Start off with who you are, because at the end of the day, I think Jillian Morin is synonymous with Miss Jill sometimes. Jillian Morin is synonymous with Marlboro Public Schools sometimes. So I think it's still about, and I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but it's still about knowing your audience. You don't want to downplay things. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm just Jill and I make videos sometimes. I make tutorials, like I just like videos and cameras. Like I don't want to do that, but I also don't want to be like, hello, Jillian Morin from Creative Communicators. Talk. I'd like to talk to you about your company and all that I can do for it. Like that's awful as well. So I mean, you can see in the groups that we're connected in, JP. You get a feel for who people are. You have this great ability. Your interviews are phenomenal because
Thank you.
you really pay attention to who you're talking with while also integrating the comments. Your show is very polished. I'm not trying to like
Thank you.
you're so amazing, but you are. So for you, when I think about you, I don't just think about you as someone in the eCam community. I think about you and your whole brand and your show. But for those that are just starting out, it's okay for people to get to know you a little bit. And so knowing your audience, really knowing who you're talking to and when it's appropriate to talk about your brand. If you have less than 10 videos, I would say, I mean, you can still push your brand, but if you're like, hello, this is my YouTube channel and creative communicators, then it could be off-putting. So
Right.
everybody starts somewhere, but just be a person of character and,
Yeah,
yeah.
I get it. I mean, I love the way you put it. For me, you can be an actress.
Stop. I hate the attention. I mean,
I
like,
love it. I love it. I
knock it
mean,
off.
it's just being natural, right?
It's just,
Being just really natural, don't
yeah.
overdo it and don't underplay it. That's what I'm
Exactly.
getting from what you're saying, right? Don't overdo
Mhm.
it because they can see through that, right? When you're
Mhm.
trying to, put on a facade of something you're not,
Mhm.
they can see through it straight. And
Yeah.
don't undervalue yourself either, right? Just
Yeah,
value yourself just right.
false humility is just as off-putting as arrogance because honestly, they're two in the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having a distorted view of who you are is it's transparent. People don't always know that it's transparent, but it really is. And people don't want to work with people like that, whether it be just for like, oh, help me produce this live stream or jump on my live stream, or hey, I want to hire you as on retainer for $4,000 a month and help run my social media for me. Like people won't want to work with you if you're not authentically who you are. So if
Mm-hmm.
you know, be who you are, but also, find that balance of not lowering yourself, like being proud of who you are, but not being annoying.
Would you say that experience, right, will help you develop that aspect of your business? Like, the more you do it, let's
Yeah,
let's let's be more specific. Let's say we want to launch a live streaming solution company, right? We want to help other companies improve with their live stream by providing remote broadcast to them, or even classes and teaching them on how to do this and do that. So would you say that to do something like that more
mm,
practically, you need to, first of all, have a lot of live stream? Because I'm thinking whenever you approach the client, they're going to want to see something, right? So that maybe can be what you use to show them your know-how.
yeah,
But the more you've done it, would you say that will help you even in the negotiation and the value proposition that you're presenting to them? Or can
yeah,
somebody that I'm talking, right now I'm talking like knowledge theory versus real practice, right?
yeah.
There's a difference there. So can somebody go from just theory, done it one or twice, and would you say they could swing it? Or would you say, no, take your time to master this thing, take your time to really do it for X amount of time
Yeah.
before you try to approach a client and be paid for it?
Yeah, I think experience is key. I have I have gone through all the mistakes that you can think of making, or like the on the fly troubleshooting. Man, you apps and I don't want to discourage anybody. If you're at the beginning of this, keep going, but I would be very careful about getting paid for gigs,
Mm-hmm.
especially live streaming gigs. I mean, there's a difference between like pre-shooting. I do a ton of video production that's not live, but you can always
Mm-hmm.
be like, "Man, I didn't get that good. I need to go back out." But if you're going to be charging for live streaming services or even consulting, you need to have made a lot of mistakes. So you're not going to be able to make a lot of mistakes if you're not out there live streaming. I'm talking live streaming take, you know, go super small with it and then use all the equipment and then bring in these lights and then unplug something and see if you can still do your live stream show. Have a microphone go out on you and already have three backups. Like I will tell you there, if you guys are following me on in the Ecamm group, I worked with Ivan. Ivan's an awesome, amazing documentary producer video out in Wisconsin. Now he landed this live streaming gig, and because he's an amazing video producer, he had this great opportunity, great paying gig with people he knew. But he
Mm-hmm.
said, this is going to be live. We have paid clients, hundreds of paid clients paying to watch this live stream. He was not as experienced in live streaming. In fact, he'd only just done a few little things. He'd never done a live stream production. So he went on the Ecamm group, and by chance or by God's grace, probably both, I was on Ecamm live streaming behind the scenes of a hockey game. So that's how him and I hooked up. He said, "Oh my God, I need to talk to you the next." So this is again, I'm on the Ecamm group a lot, testing things out, saying, "Hey, I just learned this," putting myself out there as a resource, even as I'm still learning. But he
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
identified my work there and saw how I was using even limited equipment. He saw how I was still getting the job done at an excellent level because I had live streamed so many hockey and basketball games out of requirement for my job. But I had done so much of that, so I was able to book two major gigs, flying out to Wisconsin to help him live stream dance competitions. So I mean, it was random, but it wasn't, because I was on the eCam group saying, "Hey, I just learned this. Hey, look at this behind the scenes stuff." So as I'm learning, I'm sharing in the community, which builds trust, which builds connections, which gives me so much active live problem solving, which then, like, I had no doubts about being able to run his live stream with excellence. And truly, both gigs that I flew out there to do went perfectly. Perfectly. But it was a
Nice.
lot about experience, and knowing how my software works, to then
Mm-hmm.
identify, actually, this frame rate is different in that camera and this one's there. And like, knowing audio. Okay, wait, we need to isolate the audio. Let's get a shotgun mic over there, away from us, because
Right,
we want to use
right.
headsets. So experience is everything. So if you don't have experience, I always tell people this too: look in your city, look in your town, see if there's a public access channel. Go get yourself a part-time job.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't get a job, if they're not hiring, I promise you, it's in their contract. They need to allow volunteers to go in and learn their equipment. It is just, that is how it works. Those public access channels are public access. So if you're a resident, you can go and use their equipment and live stream your shows in a real TV studio. That's like a hidden gem for people like us. So, you
It
know,
is.
go get
It is. I
experience.
mean, that's phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my takeaway is exactly that. Where when somebody's paying you for something, they're paying you. Remember that. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter how much they're paid. What matters, and as a branding expert myself, I'm thinking brand, right? What matters is that can either make your brand or destroy your brand,
Yep.
right? Because word to mouth is a very powerful thing. So out of one very satisfied and very content, customer, client, he will turn around and share it with his entire ecosystem. And from there, other people are going to reach out to you, depending on how well you've done. So if you just don't have a lot of knowledge and you decided to swing it, and on that day now you had some challenges where you didn't have any background experiences on how to overcome, you couldn't overcome them. First of all, that will damage your reputation, your business reputation and brand.
Yeah.
And second, you might have some problems. You might end up having to reimburse, right? Because
Yep.
if you couldn't overcome that, that means you couldn't solve the issue. That means that the event didn't continue. And when the pain is, let's remember, they're paying for the expertise that we're bringing. They're paying for our know-how, our experiences, that testing and doing all those things. So I like,
Yeah.
what Charles Jackson just said. He said that he really said, I really enjoyed the behind the scenes tutorial you shared, Jill, which is
Thanks.
very, very powerful, because that is how I knew about you. See that? That is how I discovered you, out of one of your tutorials that you share in the eCamp community. And you, every single time you bring value, right? You bring, not only you bring value, but you bring yourself, right? It's Jill every single time, regardless of how serious the subject matter is. And I like what FH Umpire is saying. She said, your humor is everything. I'm so glad you let it out. It helps all of us, especially women, to feel comfortable talking risk with our true selves. That is
Yes.
dope. That
Girl
is dope.
power.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, and that is one aspect that I really appreciate about you, but it also goes into, being a brand. When you're a brand, you need to have something unique about you. Like, for example, Jill can, teach you how to live stream. JP can teach you how to live stream. But the way
Right.
Jill will do it is different from the way JP will do it, right? The approach is different. Now, whenever
Yeah.
we present that, we're painting a picture to the client, and now the client has different options to choose from and say, okay, I really like this approach to it. Maybe let me go this route. But
Yeah.
the way we bring it goes back to what you said, Jill. It goes
Mm.
back to your expertise,
Mm.
right? Every single thing we're building, we're building it from here, And then this is my expertise. So I'm going to build it on top of this and I'm going to keep going. So this is what I know. This is where my strength is. And from there,
Yeah.
I'm going to add this to it, even though, right, graphic design may not be a strong suit, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
On the Ecamm platform, this
Yeah.
person saw another person, right?
Yeah.
Saw you, reached out to you, right? Even though he's a professional, right? He's
Yeah.
not used to going live. So he reached out to you, partnered with you for you to help him. And that's where also my next takeaway was when you were sharing was, okay, knowing how to reach out to people and also knowing how to partner with people on
Yeah.
things that you may not be an expert on. Like, you know, a client can want your company, your brand to handle something. And if you can partner with the right people, having the right people in your portfolio and, you know, your connection, your networking can really be beneficial because if, for example, I know Jill and I know I have a live event. I'm like, guess what, Jill? I got this going on. Can you help? If she's available, guess what? The client doesn't really care how you get
Yeah.
it done. They just care
Right.
about you getting it done. So those were
100%.
my little takeaways from everything you shared with us, and those were some value proposition, high value that you dropped with us today. Now, Content Creators University, we can never close the show without taking a look at the behind the scenes. So we want to know, what exactly are you using in this show, right? Starting with the microphone first, right? What microphone are you using?
So I always mess this up because I always say the wrong one. I've got the SM. Oh, let me give you. Okay, listen, guys. Don't judge this behind the scenes camera. You judge it, and we're done. This is a webcam that I got on Amazon for $13. I'm not in my home, so I don't have my nice backup camera. But this microphone is the SM7B, and that is plugged into the Focusrite, the Scarlett Focusrite.
All right.
I'm oh, sorry. What
No,
other
no, you're
questions did
good.
you
You're
have?
good. Continue. So
Okay.
it's connected to Scarlet Focus, right? Yeah. Turn around. We're
Yeah.
behind here.
Oh man, my cowlick.
No.
So I'm using an iMac, and I've got my Canon 80D, the dummy battery, plugged in USB, not HDMI. And I've got my beautiful Sigma lens on here, which makes me feel gorgeous. You'll notice that for today, I usually have a teleprompter
Mm-hmm.
with an iPad laid right under here, displaying my monitor.
All right.
But I left it at home, so I improvised. I put a tall table behind my screen with a pretty large monitor behind there. And then look, if you I don't know if you can see it over here, but I have this right here is just like the screen that I'm looking at is just under the
Oh, yes,
camera.
yes, yes. I'm looking at it now. Yes.
So you gotta do what you gotta do and improvise. I was like, man, could I rig up a teleprompter? No, it's not the most important thing as long as I'm able to
I
look into the
maintain eye
camera.
contact.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Really
Yeah.
like that. Now, a couple of questions, real quick. When you're talking
Yeah.
about your, lens, is that a Sigma 16 millimeter f1.8 or
You know
f1.4? I'm
it.
sorry. Yeah.
This is
Okay.
yes. Yep.
Yeah.
It's funny
All
when
right.
I bought this way before I needed it, but I'm really glad I got it. There's been a few compulsive purchases I've made since joining the Ecamm fam, which I'm sure everyone can relate to. Like, oh, what's that? Where'd you
Yes,
get it? I
ma'am.
need it. I need it yesterday. But
Mm-hmm.
I didn't point out I also use a Stream Deck. I'm not using it today because I'm not producing this show. But the
Mm-hmm.
Stream Deck is clutch for me in terms of being able to switch scenes and integrate preview mode when I want. And man, just it makes it so much easier to have a seamless show for sure. And then my lighting is just I have some ring lights, and then I have a box light back up behind my head just to separate me from my background just a little bit as well.
All right, nice, nice, nice. Now, talking about your iMac, you want to go ahead and
Hmm.
show us the behind the scenes? Let's take a look at your iMac one more time. Is that
Yeah.
the Intel based? If it is, what are the specs that you have on there?
So this one is actually owned by my by the company that I work with. So this is just kind of a base level 2019 memory is only 8 GB. So it's this is kind of like the base model, but in
Okay.
terms of live streaming here, I only ever have four. Actually, we had 6 guests live streaming, but it's been great for what we need to do here. The other device that I consistently live stream from is the MacBook Pro 2020 with, gosh, it's got a ton. It is maxed out, but even still, I've got the itch to get that Mac Mini because the fans go on real quick.
Right, right.
And I do so much video editing that even though that laptop is great for all the traveling around that I do, I need
Mm-hmm.
something at home where I can do more live stream producing and not be worried about that darn fan. You know what I mean? What are you
Mm-hmm.
What are you working with? Can you give me some behind the scenes?
Well,
I'm curious. I'm talking too
well.
much.
Well, I don't have my behind the scenes camera set up today,
Yeah.
but I have. I'm on my M1 Mac Mini, 16 gig RAM. That's what I'm using for my main broadcast here, and my
Yeah.
camera is, the Sony A6100 with the 16 millimeter lens as well, Sigma 16 millimeter f1.8 lens that I'm using. Of course, I have. I said of course because as a cinematographer, those are things that we always think of. But I do have my LUT. I have a LUT that I use all the time
Me
with my production.
too. What's
Yeah, a lot of
your
people
what's
don't
your
think about that.
Well, who's our boy? Oh, he's so adorable. What's his name that did a whole thing about Let's like a year ago?
Let me see. Is not
Marshall.
Marshall? Marshall, right? Yeah.
Marshall.
Yeah.
He's so adorable, and
He
congratulations to
is.
him. He's been doing real well.
Yes, ma'am, he is.
Yeah.
So now let's check right here. I got, Kelly Dunn saying, Jill, when are we doing a stream together on your Creative Communicators with Miss Jill channel?
Let's
Or
do
maybe I need to
it.
start my tech channel getting on. And she said, let's get shopping, right? And I like what you said earlier, Jill, where you're talking about the Stream Deck. I'm personally using the Stream Deck right now. That's what I use every
Mhm.
single time going live. And like Jermaine said, the Stream Deck is an everyday productivity piece for me. I have
Yeah.
my other apps controlled by it as well. Yes. I mean, I am changing scenes. I'm doing all this without looking down, without, thinking about it. Muscle memory. My fingers know where everything is. I just click and move them. Stream Deck is a life changer. And it
Mhm.
just, takes the strain off of your focus, right? Like if you don't have that, you have to really focus on the computer,
Mhm.
try to see and click on the right things and make sure you're not, like clicking the wrong scene, is putting something else on.
Yep.
So yeah, that is value. Well,
Yeah.
we've gotten to the end of our show. Of course, we cannot let you go without you sharing with the folks. How can we connect with you? What are the places, social media or what have you, where we can connect with you and continue the conversation or just work with you if you want to do that?
Absolutely. So actually, I'll write my email address in here.
There we go.
I can't read Korean. So my email is on the YouTube chat. Info@creativecommunicators.com is the
Hmm.
best way in terms of talking. Really talking to me. Email is going to be the best way to connect with me. But I also have. Oh man, I don't even use that Miss Jill Facebook group. I don't think I've put anything in there in a long time. But my YouTube channel, Miss Jill. I'm about to do a brand new rebranding of it. So as you could see there, you're going to see a lot of Portuguese in there now, but I'm going to be using this channel, Miss Jill, to share out and do some more live streaming. And in fact, I'm going to be inviting some guests on. So JP, I'm going to ask you on the spot. Are you going to join me on a live stream sometime?
Absolutely. You already know. Just let me know. I'll be there. Anything for you,
Yeah.
Miss Jill. Yes, ma'am. And you also have your Instagram, by the way, for the folks that
Oh,
are on
yes.
Instagram. Hmm.
Yes. Miss Jill, because Miss Jill was taken. So I'm super creative.
That was smart, right? Like you put Miss Jill
Miss Jill.
twice on there. That is super smart. Still Miss Jill without having
It's
to
still Miss Jill.
change your name or, do anything
Yep.
such. So that's
Yep.
dope. That's dope. Thank you so much. I want you to stay here with me,
I will.
backstage as I close. Let me go ahead and close with our viewers and listeners on the show. Hey, folks, this is Content Creators University. As you saw, we've learned a lot from Miss Jillian Morin today on how to build the business mindset surrounding our content creation. If you appreciate this type of videos, folks, go ahead and smack the like button at the bottom there. Activate the bell icon if you're on YouTube. Subscribe. Follow me on all my platforms, right? I am available on Roku. Download the Roku application, JP Hightek or Fire TV. Go on, Facebook. Look for JP Hightek or go to my website, jphightek.com. I am available. Let's connect and let's build this ecosystem of content creators, or just go to contentcreatorsuniversity.com for more. I really appreciate you joining us, and I'll see you again next time for another video every week. Like we do it for another amazing show. You be safe, like I always say. Shalom. Bye-bye, folks.